so much happening around you, so much happening within you, mostly in response to what's happening around you. That's logical. It makes sense. You come here with a lot of ability to observe your physical environment through a variety of physical senses. And you also bring with you a physical sense, to be certain, but it isn't usually included in those which are considered to be your physical senses, and that is your emotional relationship to your experience. And what that emotional relationship really is an awareness of where your vibration is resonating in your physical experience. So the better you feel, and there's not a right or wrong attached to this, it's just that you have this steady, consistent, continual, relentless gauge of how much of your power you are allowing into your awareness and experience. And this power is always flowing to you. It is never withheld from you. So it isn't that that component of your power varies in any way. It's really down to your free will and the choices that you make, whether you know you're making them or not, that allows your reception of the power that is flowing to you. And we want to emphasize this over and over and over, because many teachings have stated that the power may be flowing to you in a full stream, or may be withheld if you're not abiding by certain rules and doctrines and fulfilling your end of the bargain. Your end of the bargain isn't anyone's business except your own. That is really among your most personal relationships. Your end of the bargain, that's a funny expression, isn't it? Your end of the bargain. But you are in exchange at all times. Thoughts being created by you, broadcast out from you, attracting to you the details of your physical experience, both in thought and in that which you would consider to be more tactile, tangible manifestation. And the way that you feel really is your awareness of how close in proximity you are to getting anything and everything that you want in any given moment. And there's a lot of it. Not one of you comes forward into these physical bodies, into these physical lives with just an intention, or the intention of accomplishing something, and then you go. Even those who incarnate in physical form for what you would consider to be a very, very short time, perhaps an unsatisfyingly short time from your physical nose in their business of what's going on for them. So we want you to know that you are always expanding into more. You've heard us say that. All of you have played. If you've played with us at all, you've heard us say that somewhere. We are all expanding into more and more and more. Source, the source of all that is, which has been around for all that can be identified in existence, continues to expand. Nothing is finished, not ever. No desire is finished or retracted or negated. It is all built upon greater and greater and greater and greater and greater. So every desire that has ever come into vibrational being still exists and has become more and more and more and more and more. This is not about you proving anything. This is about you demonstrating to yourself that you can both identify that which is desired by you and allow into your experience that which is desired by you. It is so much about desire at the basis. It is all about that. And so our role in visiting with you friends really has to do with assisting you in just keeping up to speed with the expansion that is inevitable, because you grow and you grow and you grow and you become and you become and you become, and the thoughts that you're thinking serve you so well because as you are focused in this very specific human experience sort of way, these thoughts that you are thinking keep you up to speed with it, or keep you... This is where language falls short, because we don't want to scare anybody about anything that isn't actually scary, and you can't disconnect from your power, and you can't disconnect from your expansion, but you can create a lot of tension. And when your thoughts aren't serving you well, that's all we mean by that, is that your thoughts are sort of anchoring you to what is now as the majority of you, the dominance of you expands forward, and you feel this tension, sort of building and increasing. And you feel it in all kinds of ways. You feel it immediately, and this is really where we began this segment today. You feel it emotionally right away. You feel it emotionally in your sensitivity, your beautiful, perfect sensitivity to your emotions, before anything else has time to take place, before it has time to manifest in your timing or your conversations or your physical or mental well-being. You feel it right away. And if you can be real snobby, we like it when this one finds that word, about how you feel when you can wake up every day or start any new chapter of your day, and you can start the new chapter whenever you want, demanding of yourself that you care about how you feel, that nothing that you have your business in matters more than how you feel right now. You really clear the clutter of your mental environment for yourself. Can't talk to you right now, gotta feel better first. Was intending to do this, I know you got me on your calendar and we've agreed upon it, but I gotta get myself in tune first. It's the same responsibility that you would have as a musician playing in a band, to not just rush onto the stage knowing your instrument was out of tune and say, well, let's just go for it anyway. The audience won't mind. The audience will mind. You will mind. Your bandmates will kick you out of the band. You will gain a reputation as being incapable of doing the very simple thing that you've signed up to do. So it's always better to take a beat, take a moment, take a few minutes, take as long as it takes, get your instrument tuned up, and then proceed. So that you don't just check the box of, we played the show and we got through it, but you played the show in exactly the way you want to play it. You played it to the best of your ability, as demonstrated not only by your mechanics in manipulating your instrument to your intentions, but by your ability to know whether or not your instrument is in tune with the music that is being played by those that you are co-creating with. You can get away with a little bit more as a solo artist, but not much, because there's always an offness. Everybody's got perfect pitch within them, whether they've educated themselves to be able to identify the details of it or not. Everyone can feel the offness, whether they can explain what they're noticing or identify even for themselves what they're noticing. Everybody feels it. And so here we are again. This is an emotional experience. This is your emotional meter. This is your sensory meter, letting you know, giving you accurate feedback in every moment. Something needs to be a little tuned up here. All the better if you've, by virtue of your sensitivity, educated yourself and practiced yourself into understanding, I'm a little flat, aren't I? I'm just almost a semitone flat here, or I'm a little sharp, or whatever it is, so that you can make an easy adjustment. You want to shore it up quickly. You don't want to take unnecessary time. You want to come prepared. And so practicing, paying attention, better word, honoring how you feel, practicing honoring how you feel as something that matters first and foremost, in spite of everything that you've all invariably been taught, and somewhere along the line, you've all been taught, be more selfless. Slow your energy down so that you can be of benefit to others in what maybe hasn't been identified as the desire for them to get up to speed with themselves. Before we open the conversation, we use you as an example, friend?
Sure.
No, we don't. We're not going to end this
like,
segment yet. You're very good, though. See how prepared. Mallet at the ready. A couple weeks ago, you reached out to this one over the phone with some concern you were having about an individual who you care about the well-being of, noticing discordance that was very apparent to you, and seeking some guidance as you were desiring alignment as to how to best proceed in this situation. And so this one didn't go full Gabriel. He just sort of Clay-brieled the information through for you, multitasking, and he's good at that. Sometimes it's a lot less fanfare and you don't get as many snacks with it. But what we could feel was your tendency to do in that moment as you focused on what didn't feel good to you about the situation was that you were sort of duping yourself without meaning to at all, with strong intention to be of advantage to the situation. What you were sort of positioning yourself to do was to slow yourself down in the acknowledgement that someone wasn't up to speed with themselves, so that maybe you could, and we're putting some words in the mix here that you hadn't consciously calculated for yourself, but you thought, if I can slow myself down, maybe this one who is sluggishly moving along won't notice how slow he's going and he'll feel better. And that's such a common, well-intentioned mistake that friends make, when what you really want to do, and what we broadcast to this one, and what this one accurately found the words to communicate to you, was get into your power. Take a moment or moments for yourself and just feel your power. Feel this stream of power that is flowing to you, and let it flow through you, and let it turn you on and light you up and get you vibrating super, super high. And then just think about this individual. Don't go mess with them and their sluggishness, because to interface with someone in that position in a literal kind of face-to-face way, you really do kind of logically have to slow down, or you're just sort of noise to them. They can't hear you with their ears, and they can't really understand you with their mind, but your power of influence, just by broadcasting vibration from a place of being up to speed with your own power, does 100 times the work that it would do to take someone's hand and say, I feel your pain right now. That does nothing for anyone to do that. And you're so well-intentioned every time you want to do it. Every time you want to dip down into the negative zone, if you're not there already, and say, I will help you from the negative zone, it's just not helpful in spite of your good intentions. And so you always want to elevate yourself into the positive zone of your emotions, even though that's somewhat freakish by the standards of what's been practiced for thousands of years on your planet. Almost all, this is a broad, bold statement here, but almost all teachings and coachings and parenting that has taken place on your planet has come from the negative zone. Almost all of it, most all of the time. And it's not that it's not well-intentioned. It's always well-intentioned. You want to caution those you love against the dangers of the world. You want to influence them with your words before they step out in front of a bus and get their foot run over, or worse, or whatever. You feel that it's your responsibility to get out ahead of it for them. And what we want you to know is that it's your responsibility to get up to speed with you and then influence from that place. We've never said it more clearly, and thank you for for letting us throw you under the bus, but So, now what? You are masters at work here. Not just here now. You're not just masters in this moment. You are masters in this life. You are here to do masterful work. And you're doing it. And you're doing it. And you're doing it. And if that surprises you a little bit, let's get you up to speed so that that's not a surprise to you. Who's ready?